All right, Jonathan, let's talk about tech birthdays, May 24th through the 31st. Who do we got?
First off, we have Bob Wallace, who is
Bob Wallace.
famous.
Yeah, because I think in our previous segment was the next computer web server by Tim Byrne something or other, who created the first internet web server.
Wow. This is like his direct email to all of his people.
Executive staff.
Wow. All right. On May 27th, Windows hits version 2.1.
What? I think I started using Windows in version 3. I don't think I actually use any of the previous versions.
Wow, you got some color in there? Look at that. That's Paint?
That's the old Paint software.
Whoa.
But you notice that it still ran on top of MS-DOS. So you still needed MS-DOS in order to run Windows. Windows was just like a shell over a graphical interface shell over the operating system shell. So, which is not the case anymore. Now they've completely separated everything, and now you have what they call a kernel, and that kernel can now direct like different services. The terminal is separated. The Windows, the GUI system is now separated. The graphical user interface is what I mean by GUI. All that is separated. Now the kernel is just like this small piece of the operating system itself. I mean, it takes a lot to write that.
Cool. All right. On May 28th, the first modern color movie.
What?
On with the show. Warner Brothers. Wow.
2 colors.
They got color, talking, singing, dancing.
I used to work for this company.
Technicolor?
Technicolor.
Oh, yeah.
Over in Burbank. Burbank, California.
Cool.
Cool.
On May 28th, GIF is not peanut butter. Oh, GIF.
GIF.
GIF is not peanut butter.
GIF.
I pronounce it GIF. How do you pronounce it?
I pronounce them GIFs too.
They're saying it's GIF though.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. That's when they released GIF.
So this is graphics interchange format, which didn't last very long.
What do you mean it didn't last?
Like yeah, it had some limitations. So you couldn't do color photographs, or you couldn't reproduce color photograph. So I don't think you can print a GIF file. And so what they had to do was they had to produce the JPEG. JPEG, what does JPEG stand for? Something. Let's see. What does JPEG stand for?
Joint Photo Experts Group. It's the second paragraph.
Joint Photographic Experts Group. Oh, it's a standard. So yeah, so essentially the JPEG became popular because I'm not exactly sure of the numbers here, but let's just say that the color spectrum blue. Let's say, for example, there's a total of 10,000 different blues in the spectrum of blue. But on those 10,000, the eye can only see like every, I don't know, 100 differences. So the difference between 0 and 100, the eye can't tell the difference. And so removing 2 through 99 on the spectrum of color reduces the size of the image. And so by removing those spectrums and just replacing them with a similar spectrum within the 100 different shades that the eye cannot see, it reduces the size of the image. But to the eye, even though you lose quality, the eye can't tell the difference. And so what these people came up with was a way of like, hey, let's get rid of what the eye can't see anyways. And we not only compress the image, we reduce the size of the image, we don't lose any quality that is seeable by the naked eye. And so that's where JPEG became a new standard. So JPEG is actually portable for any operating system. It doesn't matter what operating system, where GIF is not necessarily available for all operating systems. I think it's a lot more widely available, but it still has its limitations. And so that's why when you print something, when you print something from a JPEG to a photograph, you may not get the same quality as if you use like the raw image. Because the raw image may have some differences that the printer can distinguish, and the printer may end up losing a lot more quality than what the screen produces.
Got it.
And so that's cool.
Pretty interesting.
It is.
All
yeah,
right.
We got off the tangent of GIF, but yeah, or GIF, however you pronounce it. I think PNG was the alternative to GIF to get around licensing issues. Oh, so the GIF has licensing issues. Interesting.
Oh, but the patent's expired, just says it in the next sentence.
Today.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, on May 29th, Apple Newton announced, what is that? Apple Newton?
Yeah, the Fig Newton.
The apple flavor Fig Newtons.
Oh, this is like a handheld device, huh?
Wow, yeah. 92. Apple CEO John Scully announces the Newton.
You know what's interesting is that it's a credit card processor.
Oh, wow. Now taking orders. Yeah. Wow, you can do a lot then.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Order a pizza by moving icons into a pie and faxing the order from the device. Wow.
And then sliding your credit card. What's interesting was that John Scully had his mindset on portable devices. And I believe that when Steve Jobs came back to Apple, he's all like, no, I'm not going to do this. Like, let's just get rid of these devices. They're not money makers. He was against the iPhone. He didn't want to produce the iPhone until the designers and the engineers came up with something that he felt was going to be interested by the community or by the customers of Apple. That's when he finally, and even then, they had to really sell it on him. But he was against the iPhone, the iPod, all that stuff. He was against it. He didn't want any portable devices. He's like, yeah, people don't want to carry anything. They want to just sit at their desk and work.
Boy, was he wrong.
Yeah. I mean, he ate crow on that one, definitely. Cool.
All right. Next, we have May 29th. Discovery docks with International Space Station. Wow. So the Discovery shuttle docked the space station.
Yeah. To bring supplies, I guess.
That was the first time.
1999. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. On May 30th, first automobile accident. What?
What? 1896. Oh man, look at the steering wheel on that thing.
Wow.
Looks like a reverse shotgun.
That's how you steered it, just with a stick. Collides with a bicycle. Oh man.
Written by Evelyn Thomas. Accused Henry of being from Jersey, but he was actually from Massachusetts.
Wait, he did it on purpose? He's like, "You're from Jersey. I'm gonna run you over."
I guess. Is this a motorized?
Yeah, there's a motor in the back.
Yeah.
I wonder how fast they were going.
Duria motor wagon. I'm interested in seeing. $118. Duria Motor Wagon Company. Wow, that's pretty crazy. Cool. I can't believe that they're actually celebrating an accident.
Yeah, that's funny. All right, on May 31st, all your bases belong to us.
Saga releases the video game Zero Wing. Oh, this is from the Sega Mega Drive system.
Oh, okay.
You guys didn't get a Sega system, huh?
Yeah, we did.
You guys had Sega?
We had a Sega Genesis, yeah.
Oh, the Genesis.
Not the Mega Drive, though.
Yeah. This was before you guys were born, I guess. How did you guys get the Sega Genesis?
I don't remember.
I don't remember buying it.
We had them all. So
I know you guys had like Nintendo, Sega, and the handheld ones for when you guys were traveling.
All the handhelds. Yep.
Cool. That's a good way of ending our segment here with the game.
Video games.
A lot of these games you can emulate them on the computer. They sell emulators, and the emulators you can load the file that represents the ROM, and you can actually run it on your computer through that emulator.
Cool.
Yeah. So if you want to be nostalgic, you can download the emulator, like an NES emulator, or a Sony PlayStation 1 emulator, or N64 emulator, all that stuff. And then you can just download the ROMs, load them, and play them.
Cool.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. So I don't know how legal that is, but apparently you could do that. So cool.
That's all right. It for tech history this week.
Yep, that was May 24th through the 31st. Until next time.
All right. Miss 4.
Quicksoft, but some interesting things about him is that he was the 9th Microsoft employee.
That's a pretty honorable mention.
That is a very honorable mention. This guy,
employee.
Yeah, this guy, he made some bucks off of Microsoft. I could tell you that. He was also the first person to use the term shareware, which, are you familiar with what shareware was?
No, not really.
So shareware is supposed to be like, if I write a program, I can go ahead and pass it on to you. And instead of you directing people to my site, you can share that program with other people.
Okay.
And so you would be able to pass it along. I don't know if you were allowed to modify it. Are you allowed? Okay, it's owner for trial use at a little or no cost with limited functionality or incomplete documentation. And so what would happen is that as you share and the people that you shared with share it, it goes on and starts spreading. People, one of those people eventually is going to want to buy the full feature. And then that's when they have to come back to me and purchase the full features.
Oh.
But they were very useful, what do you call it? Applications when it became, when stuff was shareware, because a lot of times you can go and piece a bunch of different shareware applications and make it do everything that you needed it to do. So like, say, for example, I think zipping up files originally started as shareware, where if you just wanted to unzip files, that was perfect, because most of the time you weren't zipping files, you wanted just to unzip files. If you had to zip file, I think you can download like a freeware to help you zip it, but it might have been just a command line tool, where the shareware paid version might have given you the opportunity to do it through the graphical user interface, instead of breaking down to the command line and stuff like that.
Cool.
But he was the founder of the company called Quicksoft, which the PC Write was a computer word processor, one of the first 3 widely software. So essentially he wrote a word processor like Microsoft Word or Google Docs, which are word processors. Interesting.
Pretty neat.
Oh, look at this. By default, it accepted many of the same control key commands as WordStar. That's what I started with. WordStar was a very intimidating word processor.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, you see these are called command controls. This like $B and $B. So that would make your text bold.
Okay, yeah.
S would be underline, and then Y would be italic. And this is what your word processor was. And you didn't get to see what it looked like until you printed it. And back then there was no laser printers, or laser printers were pretty expensive if there was, but they were dot matrix. So they're the ones that like had this head to go back and forth, and then a roller, they would roll like, it would make all this crazy sound. What's interesting is that car salespeople still use these dot matrix printers because those are the only ones that they can do carbon copies with. And I think they're starting to move away. They're starting to go to laser printers, and then they just have everybody sign, and then they make copies for everyone now. And so, but yeah, that was the only way to do carbon copies, is to use the dot matrix printers.
Wow. Old school stuff right there.
This is old school. This is where it all started. That's cool. Microsoft Bob Wallace. Maybe that's where they came up with the name Microsoft Bob.
In honor of Bob Wallace.
Bob Wallace. Bob or Bobby or Robert. Cool. Now, this was a short segment for birthdays. Oh no, we got one more.
Yeah, we got one more. We got John Cock.
Try not to laugh. Jonathan, I said not to laugh.
No, because you said it, I had to laugh now.
We practiced this so many times, Jonathan.
Damn it.
All right. What is he famous for? Oh, he's the father of the RISC architecture. Do you know what RISC is?
No.
So Sun Microsystems, their processors were based on RISC, which what does RISC stand for? Let's see. Reduced instruction set computer. Okay. And I believe that most phones and small devices, even like and I'm not 100% sure, but I'm taking a good guess here, is that most smaller devices run on RISC processors, where PC processors run on what they call SISC, SISC processors. Complex structure, complex instruction set computer. So it's the way the actual processor works, the main processor. So we can look at a Pentium, that's a CISC processor. We can look at, what is the other one? AMD. That's more of a CISC processor. And so I think you several low operations such as load memory, arithmetic operation, memory store, capability of multiple step operation, addressing mode, single instructions. Yeah. The term is retroactively coined in contrast to reduced instruction set computer, and has therefore become something of an umbrella term for everything that is not RISC. So yeah, so System 360, the Z architecture, the PDP-11, VAX architecture, Data General, all these ran on CISC architecture. So the MS-DOS technologies, Intel 8051, and others.
Wow.
Yeah. So he created the RISC architecture, which is the reduced instruction set, which is for smaller devices, if I'm not mistaken. Single cycle instruction. The Blackfin 860, the 960, the 8800, the MIPS, Power ISA, including the Power PC. RISC processor also used in supercomputers. Wow. The Fugaku, which is, as of June 2020, the world's fastest supercomputer. Wow.
Wow. That's cool.
I hope I don't have it backwards. No, yeah, here you go. The telephone switch program. We should probably check. Is i7 core processor a RISC? Yeah.
Yeah.
Intel, RISC or CISC? RISC processor also complicated hardware, super scalar executions, present classifying RISC or CISC almost impossible. Intel remains in the CISC. Even the whole world went towards RISC and enjoyed advantage of software support. So yeah, so Intel stayed with CISC instruction sets. So when you're back then, when you were before the operating systems came on board, you had to know what processor you were working on, and whatever program you were writing in assembly, you had to write assembly code that was specific to a RISC processor or a CISC processor. And they both had different ways of programming. So
that's cool.
So yeah, you can see the abstraction. I don't know if you remember from our first episode of the Road to Code, we talked about the abstraction layers. It's like the hardware, the operating system, the drivers, the runtime, all that stuff. So we got like about 1,000 layers in between the programming language that we use to the hardware, because even the hardware itself has its own operating system that it interacts with. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mr. John C. Just to keep Jonathan from laughing again. Cool. Very nice. I think this was a short one, huh?
Yeah, that was it for tech birthdays.
All right, that was it. May 24th through the 31st. Until next time.